Welcome back to the Cavia Theater here in downtown Denver, Colorado, as we are set and ready for the second half of our RMAC Football Kickoff show. My name is Miles Dunklin. It's my pleasure to be joined by the men from Grand Junction, Colorado, as I've got Miles Kochevar, Cooper Mumford, and Gibson Leafgreen. Gentlemen, thanks for your time today.
Oh, thanks for having us, Miles.
Yeah, so Coach, kind of give you a chance to give an opening statement about your football team here in 2026.
Oh, perfect. Exciting time to be a Maverick. A lot of things going on right now with just the program as a whole, but a lot of exciting things for these guys. We're sitting next to me today. Two guys that have 4 years straight through, didn't redshirt, came in when we first got this thing started, first true recruiting class. So just excited that we've had the opportunity to watch these guys grow. And that's the program as a whole right now. So we've got new facility going on and everything underway as we get ready to kick off the season. And we've had a great number of guys back working out, getting ready to go. Out of these guys, the 18 guys that we got going into this senior class, I think I counted the other day, we got 10 of these guys that already have job offers, opportunities beyond football. So just proud of where the program is, and it's an exciting time to be a Mav.
Yeah, how special is that for you to see the guys, the first group that you fully recruited, had come through the system and be able to come through and be your seniors and your leaders?
Oh, it's been nice to finally have some time to just kind of sit back and reflect, because you don't think about that. You just go. We're out to obtain a goal, and you're working to get it every single day, and you start to push. But when we actually had a chance to sit back and just reflect where we're at as a program, what these guys have been able to do, the standards that they've been able to set forth, the foundation that they've been able to lay for the program, it's going to be something that is sustained over time, and they're leaving their legacy at Colorado Mesa. So very rewarding as you actually sit back and see what these guys have been getting done and the growth that they've had, and these are just two examples of those guys, but that's us as a whole right now. So very, very rewarding as you look at that, and proud of these young men and what they've been able to do.
We talked about these guys in that class, the foundation of your program. Let's talk about this guy to your left as a foundation of your team this year, that offensive line. Is that something you feel like you can kind of hang your hat on going into this next year, and the experience, the big guys that you have up front?
Yeah, and it's time for Cooper to cut it loose. Again, came in, got thrown in the fire as a true freshman, starting at left tackle. Has played really every game since. And then his first year just coming in, and he didn't stop. So he decided, okay, I want to play college football. I want to be a collegiate wrestler. He's rolling all the way through that first year. But now that he's been able to focus on football and what he's going to be able to do, he's been a great leader for that group, and continues to raise the bar to be able to have that group establish the line of scrimmage and make sure that we're able to dominate that, day in and day out and every single week.
Yeah, so Cooper, question for you there. How exciting is that to be able to have your group be kind of at the forefront of this team and have so many veterans and guys that you played with for a long time?
Yeah, it's awesome. Me and all my great friends that I've developed through college football, we all get to play next to each other now, and we're all kind of one of the backbones of our team, and there's nobody else I'd rather have the pressure on than us. We've all grown together, we've all gone through that fire together, and so we all can rely on each other very well.
Let's talk about your offense this year. What do you think you guys will look like? Obviously, you have to replace a couple of the best running backs in the league. The guys were really hard to tackle, and you got to block for them last year. But what do you think Mesa Maverick offense looks like in 2026?
Well, yeah, as you said, we have to replace the running backs, but outside of that, we're returning almost our entire offense. So I think we'll be a huge threat to any team out there, and we'll have these great areas in all aspects of the game, not just running. We also have great receivers, a great quarterback. So I really think we'll be able to do whatever it is we want to do. We just need to keep developing and growing together.
Right. So for you, Coach, another year with Hunter Hughes there as the defensive coordinator. What does that look like from year one to year two, and how exciting is it to have a guy like that?
Well, and yeah, no, we're excited to be able to get this thing going for year 2, and have a little bit of a chip on our shoulder from what we did last year. So, just having that excited growth and that process that comes with that, the guys understanding him understanding the guys, but more importantly, it's about this group of guys that played a lot of football last year, and things didn't always go the way that we wanted, but they got valuable reps, and that depth has continued to grow. These guys had a good spring. And they've continued to push one another. So excited to be able to watch those guys come and just kind of relight that fire and fly around and play the kind of football that we're accustomed to.
Yeah, so Gibson, question for you there. What's it like playing for that coaching staff and that style on the defensive side?
It's great. I think we do a really good job at, keeping things simple and playing fast and trying not to confuse each other. I think what we've really worked on doing well this spring and what we're going to do better at is communicating everybody on the field. And yeah, I'm really excited to see what it turns into. And we got some guys that are going to need to step up. And I'm really excited to see those guys with that pressure on their shoulders because I really believe in them.
How big a difference does that make year 1 to year 2 in that kind of system like that, where the communication, the thinking, the pre-snap stuff, does that come a little bit easier?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's all about comfortability and confidence, which we're going to work on day in, day out, every day of practice. And like Coach said, with getting more reps, and last year was great for us to get more reps in, but now it's time for us to turn it on. And I think we're going to surprise some people this year with our ability to fight.
You guys have had some pretty good defensive backs there at Colorado Mesa, maybe one of them sitting over there taking pictures. But, what does it mean to you to represent that group and your defense here at Media Day?
It's everything to me. It's everything that I wanted, and I'm happy to have that pressure on my shoulders, and I love it.
Coach, how does your program, you were right there in so many close games last year. You beat some of the better teams in the league. You certainly showed, I think you got a puncher's chance in any game with any team based on how physical the level of ball that you guys play. But how do you take that next step to jumping to the top of the league and being the bully on the block?
And it starts with these guys, and we had that conversation. It's time to be able to go out and take it and to believe. I think that last year we kind of thought maybe it would just happen, but understanding that nothing's going to be given to you, and rely on these guys to be able to come together, and that's kind of been their motto as we've gone through winter conditioning, spring ball, all those things. It's got to be player-led. It's got to be driven from within, and you got to go and take it. And you got to understand that everybody is working for the same things, but it's part of that growth, the attention to details. We look at a few sequences that changed the outcome of our whole season last year, and you've got to be on the winning side of those. So we've got to be able to put them in position, and they've got to be ready and be able to capitalize when that opportunity comes.
I want to ask you about your offensive backfield. We mentioned the 2 running backs you're going to have to replace with Belgrade and Aiden Taylor, who was here last year, but also the quarterback position. So tell us about your offensive skill guys there in the backfield and what that group is going to look like.
Yeah, we've got a number of backs that we're going to have a very heated fall camp. Guys are going to have to come in and they're going to compete to fill those shoes. But we got a number of guys that we think that are very capable of doing so. And then any time that you have an experienced O-line where you can kind of hang your hat, that makes it a lot easier for those running backs. These guys being able to communicate, help those guys in the protection, and then obviously opening up the holes. So it really starts up front, and we kind of hit that a little bit, but you go from left tackle, left guard, all the way across the board, guys going into their fourth year and have all been together and understand what it takes. And then the depth behind them as well. So that's the first thing. And then 2 quarterbacks that are proven that have won games. Liu Amave as a 7-game winner 2 years ago. Cole coming in and winning going 6-5 last year. Those guys have done a great job of competing, supporting each other. You got to pick where you're going to go as you head into fall camp. Cole's got the nod right now, but he knows Liu ain't going to let it go easy. He wants to play. He wants to be able to help the team in any way that he can. So I think when you have that healthy, vibrant competition at that spot, it helps drive a lot of things.
Right.
And then excited all the way across with Trek Keyworth on the outside. I thought he had a very good year last year, and he's just been steady, and he's continued to improve and get better. He's a guy that, has been around all summer. It's important to him. So excited to really let him kind of continue to build on what he started and left, at Western at the end of the year last year. And then we've got a lot of other weapons with Noah Greer, Bryson Brown. We've got some big tight ends and Colt Mills Younger, Turpin. The list kind of goes on and on. So now it's about putting them in the right position. Those guys competing each day within, and then being able to carry it over on game day.
Curious about special teams for you this year. Sullivan Moon was a guy that handled kickoffs, place kicking, punting. So that's a lot to replace there with that individual leaving. So your kicking game and then maybe the return game as well. We were talking about Jackson Hansen kind of emerging last year before he got hurt.
Yep. So, and that's one where we've got to be able to capitalize in special teams. We've got to be able to create the momentum. We've got to be able to win the field position and create those explosive plays. And that's one thing we didn't do well last year, and it hurt us in a number of games. So we've got a kicker coming in. Actually, should have just pulled in to be able to add to the depth there and to be able to go and compete, but a proven guy that's played a lot of football. So he had some experience right away, and a guy that's been in those situations, those pressure situations. And then we had a number of guys this spring that were competing to be able to get after it. But it's hard to replace a guy like Sullivan Moon, and a guy that had a great leg and was able to do everything. So that's going to be a big competition and somewhere where we'll really have our eye going throughout fall camp.
Okay, question for you, and then I'm going to kick it to the guys here on this one. I think something that I've learned over the years being around Mesa athletics is Grand Junction really loves Colorado Mesa, and it's kind of a little bit on an island over there in the west part of the state, but there's really everybody pulling the rope for your program. What does that mean to you? How do you take advantage of that grassroots community stuff that you have going on there in Grand Junction?
Yeah, there's nothing like it. I think we've got one of the best environments in Division II, and right at the top of the RMAC year in and year out, because it's important. And they want to be able to see these guys succeed. So it's important for us to be able to go out and be able to perform for them. And it's time to go and find a way to get it done week in and week out.
Yeah, so Cooper, do you feel that love from the community there as someone that came from out of state? Maybe you didn't know much about Grand Junction before you arrived, but that's a place that really gets behind you guys.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We've actually gone and participated in a couple of city council meetings, and a lot of the city council members have said, Grand Junction is Colorado Mesa as well as Colorado Mesa is Grand Junction. We're all super tight, super close-knit community, and it's really special to see that support from everybody.
Yeah, so Gibson, same question to you. It's almost like a D1 big school type of mentality there where the whole town kind of knows you guys, supports you guys. Well, what's that like playing in Grand Junction?
Oh, it's incredible. I love every second of it. And I think it's a great area. It's a great community, and they really support us. And I think my favorite part is just seeing how excited people are for the games and stuff. And I'm really excited for everybody to see our new facilities.
Yeah, Coach, tell us about the new facilities and what advantage that gives you, in recruiting and development and retention and just every part of building a program.
Yeah, just the next step to get to where we ultimately want to be, and that's at the top. And when we have a great administration that shares that vision and know the work that these guys put in, and to be able to give them first-class facilities and opportunity to really succeed is very important. So they've got the fence up. They're starting to break ground over there, and we're excited as that we can continue to watch that process and watch it grow, and then be able to have all those things and those amenities right where we need them.
Let's take a look at your schedule here coming up for the upcoming season, and in particular that game late August against Minnesota State. So you guys were saying, everybody's been saying how hot it is. Y'all were like, hey, this is we're from Grand Junction. We're used to this. You feel like that could give you an advantage against Minnesota State?
Yeah, you know, and we want them to know it's going to be hot. We got the elevation, we got all those things going on, but we're excited. You know, as we set out and to be able to go and play the best. That's where we want to be. And you're playing a team like Minnesota State that year in and year out, they find a way to get it done. So it's going to be a great test and a great measure and stick to know right where we're at right from the jump.
Gibson, does that give you a little extra juice in the offseason knowing you're going to play a primetime Thursday night game to start off the season?
Oh, absolutely. I think my favorite part about it is we're both going into it 0-0, and we're going to let them know that it doesn't matter where they're at on any leaderboard.
Cooper, last question for you guys here. You know, what's your expectations of this year? How do you want to leave your mark on this program as a senior and a guy, you know, with your last ride potentially?
Like you were telling us earlier before we started this, you were saying it's cool to watch us because we always have a chance. We're always playing aggressively. That's what we always talk about as a team. We want teams to not want to come play us because we want to be the ones to punch them in the mouth. And, you know, no matter what the outcome is, we're always going to be fighting hard. And, you know, we're the team that people dislike playing because of how hard we play and how much effort we have and heart.
And Miles, does that kind of sound good to you, hearing him say that, embracing that physicality, embracing that style, and kind of taking that ownership of the DNA of your program?
Yeah, and it's just like I said before, the growth that these guys have had and the maturity and where they're at now. Just to be able to watch them go through this and now be able to go out and pave the way, so be able to get it done.
All right, well, thank you very much to the gentleman from Colorado Mesa. Up next, we'll have Levi Gallus and the Adam